Good Friday morning, everybody. On my way quickly to a convenience store called Rouse's Market. And the reason why is because my dad got kind of sick last night. Just all of a sudden came down with flu-like symptoms. And so I have to, before everybody wakes up and gets ready to go to the museum, I have to go get him some water and maybe something to eat, because he's going to stay behind today in the hotel room. So here's the view I have. I'm walking down Orland Street, which actually is the centermost street throughout the quarter. And those are beautiful houses. I haven't walked all the way through Orland Street yet, so this is a new sight for me. So yeah, today we're going to the World War II Museum. What's the word I'm looking for? The World War II Museum is located near downtown, and we have to walk all the way there because, frankly, we don't have a ton of money to be spending on Ubers and taxis. So anything that we could easily walk to using our feet and stuff, then we will. It's interesting because I think it goes to show how you can come to New Orleans on a budget as long as you're willing to not spend on all kinds of transportation and stuff. We've mostly stuck to the French Quarter during this trip. Admittedly, we did want to see the plantations. There are things outside of the French Quarter within city limits that we wanted to see and do, but we just don't have the means to get there. But we did go to the Garden District yesterday, so at least we did spend some time out of the quarter. Alright, I'm about to cross Bourbon, and you'll see what all the streets look like early in the morning. They're still cleaning up from the night before. So that's what happens when you have a tourist place, Takes all night to clean up, but nice and peaceful in the morning. So I think, am I on? Yeah, I'm on Bourbon. Okay. Yeah, because Orleans ends at Royal Street. Beautiful cast iron. Yeah. Let me see what I got. Maybe I got $1 or something. I've been using mostly card. Oh shoot. I'll tell you what, sir. Here you are. Have a blessed day. So, I was supposed to go to the World War II Museum today. I think I told you earlier that my father was really sick, so he stayed behind at the hotel. And it was going to be me, Chris, Shiloh, and Martina. But as we walked to go to get breakfast, this is my last full day in New Orleans, and I still have a lot of stuff to film that I never got to do. And if I went to the World War II museum, I'd miss out on all of it because I'd be stuck in the museum, just learning about World War II, but nothing else. So I wanted to take the opportunity to walk around the French Quarter and get some good footage, some good shots for the channel. So here we go. So here's an interesting fun fact. Right across the street we got the Omni Hotel, and an interesting thing about it is that it was built in the 1960s, but before it stood here there was a large building. It was a type of exchange, and that is where the slaves were auctioned and purchased, was at the building right at catty corner to us. And it burned down a long time ago, but they reserved one wall left, and it's right across the street, right over there. It's hard to see from here, but it still says exchange on the side, and it's got the white doors. So that's just a little piece left of a building here that had some significant history to it. So we're right across from the old Louisiana courthouse, which is currently being renovated, but this is where the exchange was. And there in the center of your screen is that section of wall I was talking about. It even still says change from the word exchange on it, but that's just a little tiny section that was left behind from the old building. Now, circling back around, we can see Louisiana Courthouse, which interestingly enough was built in, I believe, 1911. I will put a correction on the screen if I'm wrong about that. But they had to demolish a section of the French Quarter in order to build it. You see, at the time, in the 1910s, all the rich people were moving out of the French Quarter and leaving behind just the poor immigrants and stuff. So the French Quarter became somewhat of a slum back then. And in order for the city to gentrify it, to try to improve it, or so they would have called it, they built this giant courthouse here by demolishing a section, a whole block of the French Quarter. Now this building is, by now, very historic. It's well over 100 years old, and it's finely crafted. So even though it has kind of a sad history to it, it certainly does have history. Now we're still on the same street. That's the Louisiana Courthouse. And down that way is Charter Street. But if we look over here, right across the street is Napoleon House, which is a very nice restaurant. But it is said that this building is where Napoleon Bonaparte himself had stayed. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily true. I'll find the truth to that later on. But that's the story that goes here. So it's called Napoleon House, and it was established in 1797. 1797. So this is an old building. We're on the corner of Bourbon and Toulouse, and let me just give you a shot of what Bourbon Street looks like in the morning. It's very peaceful. Just some folks walking around, no partying, none of that. All the bars are still closed, everything. Right across the street, we got this really historic building. I like the way it looks. But then way down there, you got that red brick building with a advertisement on it for what looks like, well, it's two different advertisements. It's hard to read. I think groceries, I think, or it's hard to say. I can make out the price, $3.50. That's about it. But I'm on my way looking for the old Absinthe House. I gotta find it. It's not easy. But that's a view of Bourbon Street in the morning. Now the thing about Bourbon Street is that a lot of people think it's named after the drink. Actually, it's named Bourbon after the Bourbon family, one of the wealthiest families that came and helped establish New Orleans. And they were very influential in this city. And so that's what this street is named after.
I had basically spent the day walking around the French Quarter and getting video of various buildings and things that I had on my list of things to video, but just never got around to in the 4 days. We had completely jam-packed our schedule full of things to see and do, and so sometimes I just couldn't get around to certain buildings. So it was nice to walk around and just enjoy the day by myself and, you know, see the French Quarter from a very relaxed perspective, since I didn't have anything else to do. And as well as the fact that, you know, it helped to be able to walk the French Quarter at a much slower pace, since my feet were hurting so badly from the previous 4 days of nonstop walking and standing. So it was actually really nice, and I even spent time at a small cafe on Royal Street just drinking some coffee and eating a cookie. It was just a really lovely day for me. The French Quarter is the original part of the city, the place from which everything else sprang up. And so as such, the French Quarter is like a city within a city. And when you walk around, you will notice that there are even residential neighborhoods within the French Quarter. And this one in particular, along Barracks Street, is just absolutely beautiful and very calm and peaceful.
Hey folks, Alex standing here on Barracks Street. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to people who've made this dream a reality. So anyway, thank you Ken Norse Nordlemeister. Thank you Martina, who is the mother of my friend Shiloh. Jeffrey Charles, Willow Tree, Adventures with the Stones, Adam Painter, Emmett the Sports Car 86, Peter Angelopoulos, Sarah Klenotic, William Walzenberg, Dino DeSantis, Nicolaus Boothman, and Aaron K4RNA. Thank you all so much. I can't tell you how much this has meant to me. Anyway, back to the show.
As the sun set on our last full day in New Orleans, and it was also the last day that all of us were together, we decided to officially record a goodbye for all of you. But I still had the early morning of the next day that I could spend in the French Quarter, so there's still a little bit more to go.
All right, well, I'm here with Shiloh, Martina, and Chris, and this is our final night together in New Orleans, and I can only say that this has just been a really magical experience. I wouldn't have wanted to do it with anyone else. I know my father's missing from the background. He's sick and he's at the hotel. But anyway, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for everything, for being so supportive of me. I couldn't have done any of this without you guys, especially with, you know, your supportiveness of me and my channel. And of course, you know, Chris always helping me out with technical stuff as well, helping me plan everything. So
giant wallets to him.
Which is, yeah, well, I mean, but yeah, so, but I mean, not just like financial support, but being supportive, you know, of like what I do, you know, and helping me out and making me walk.
Walking off.
Well, you know what though? I think it's high time I walk, you know. This is getting out of hand. I got to start walking. But anyway, yeah, so I don't want to say goodbye, honestly, because it's just been so much fun. And, you know, especially being here in New Orleans, it seems almost unlimited amount of things to do. But we must wrap things up. So anyway, folks, thank you all for joining me on these vlog adventures. I'll probably still do one more tomorrow because I think Martina and Shiloh, they have an early flight, so they have to leave. So we won't all be together, but yeah, this has been just so much fun. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching, and I will see you all hopefully in the next location. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The next morning, my father, Chris, and I were the last of our group in the French Quarter, and we decided to go get breakfast at Cafe Beignet, since we particularly loved that cafe. And then we kind of just wandered around Royal Street. On the way back to the hotel to pick up our belongings, we ran into a musician and her group who were setting up along Royal Street to play some tunes. And what was really great about it was the very musician I was hoping to see all throughout the week. You see, there is a musician named Doreen Ketchens, like Kitchens, but Ketchens. And Doreen is rather famous for her clarinet skills, and I couldn't wait to see her. I had been waiting all week. And as I stood there recording her playing and just enjoying the beautiful music, I was reflecting on my time in New Orleans and thinking about how amazing it was to be able to do this. First of all, I just felt so grateful. I still do, for all the people who helped me get here. It wasn't just the money that I saved up, but it was also the people on my channel who donated because they wanted to help me get here. And, I came here on this really strict budget, but it happened, and this was a dream come true. But also the fact, what I experienced in New Orleans and seeing how nice everybody was. There's some things about New Orleans that, cannot be understated, which is the hospitality first and foremost. Everybody I met in New Orleans, even the homeless people, were really, really nice and really helpful. And the people of New Orleans have a lot of pride in their city. Before going to New Orleans, I had heard a lot of horror stories about the crime and about how mean people are and all this kind of stuff. And, I try not to pay too much attention to that before I go someplace. I want to see it for myself and understand it for myself. And New Orleans was completely the opposite of what I had been told, by all these people in the past. It was exactly as my father had recognized it, 2 decades ago when he last was there. It was a beautiful place filled with wonderful people, and there was so much history and so much architecture, so much culture, so much music. It was just fantastic. I hope that someday, probably years from now, I'll be able to go back, and maybe I'll come back during the Christmas season or something so I could see the French Quarter all decorated for Christmas. But this is a place I definitely want to see again, and I hope I do. Anyway, folks, thank you all so much for joining me on this journey to New Orleans, and, for all the help and all the support that you've given my channel. Thank you so much for watching my channel and watching these videos. It has meant so much to me. It really is a blessing, and it's something I do not take lightly. It is something I'm always conscious of and thankful for. So anyway, folks, happy holidays, and I'll see you all next time.